right, and we welcome you in here to Myrtle Beach Sports Center. The final day of tournament action, the first game of that here on Court 2. I am your host, Jebediah McKenzie. We'll be joined shortly by my partner, Tatum Jones. As you can hear in my voice, I haven't had my coffee yet this morning, but the pure adrenaline of this match should be everything we need for a shot of energy. We have Carolina Blue facing Minnesota HC for the coveted title of 5th place in the Open Division. Of course, the award for such is a round piece of tin foil serving as a medal and all the saltwater taffy in New Mexico. With that, I welcome in my partner, Tatum Jones. Tatum, how are we this morning?
Jebediah, couldn't be better, and to be honest, I think you summed it up perfectly. Couldn't be more excited for this game, and you can just feel the energy on the court and in the stands.
All right, we'll have, again, a big regional matchup here, the Midwest against the East Coast for supremacy. All right, much love all around, and we're off. Everybody a touch as the ball swings around the outside, and we'll see how Minnesota chooses to attack to set the tone here on the first possession of the game. Coming straight down from the center back.
Oh, and a hard foul early. UNC's not messing around. Number 15, Julian Schnitzel, with a massive hit there.
And another strong play by Schnitzel. Getting his licks in, but no yellow after 2 early heavy contacts. They're going to try starting from the other side. Nope, it's the center back coming downhill again.
Oh,
and he's able to wiggle through. Matthias Gepner.
Look for him to be a force throughout, and UNC letting in an early goal, but here's a critical time to respond.
Yeah, they attacked downhill with him 3 consecutive times until he was finally able to break through. Now through the center back on the other side.
What a cut. UNC headman by number 6, Nicholas Coliani. Oh, but an air. Oh, and the foul.
His arm being held as he tried to throw that backhanded pass to the outside. Something of a bailout, and they'll retain possession. Again, both teams seem to be using the same attack so far. Starting the ball from the wing and attacking with the center back coming downhill on the opposite side.
Oh, nice.
And
fake.
Both of them to the same success. 3 attacks, and then eventually the center back makes his way through.
Nicholas Coliani, we've got a game of 2 center backs here, and just getting started. David Thompson in net for University of North Carolina. It may come down to that. The goalkeepers are going to have to come up big if they want to take home fifth place in the Open Division.
A switch there between the wing and the back on the right side, and they'll switch back again. Tries to feed pivot, knocked away.
Oh,
and
collecting huge
for
collision.
Carolina is Daniel Galloway, officially recording the steal after it's tipped away from the pivot. Coliani trying to relieve the break, gets it out to the right wing. He manages to maintain possession. And they'll settle down and run their set offense. Only took us 3 possessions, but we have our first stop of the game. We'll see if Carolina can go ahead and take their first lead.
Oh, and another errant pass, but recovered.
Oh, and the ball, Minnesota called for a foul there on the loose ball, losing an opportunity.
And when there's a loose ball like that, Paul Scruggs is going to win 9 out of 10 times.
Big move by 14. The shot lost a lot of steam after all the work he did just trying to create some space for himself. And here comes Minnesota. Tries to float through. And he's tied up there again by Paul Scruggs. So they trade stops. Here we are back at 1-1. Wing tries to go by himself. Loses the ball off his knee. David Thompson picks up, gets to Coliani, and they're off to the races. And he hits his man right in the chest. Unfortunately, his man's wearing the wrong color jersey, and it's Minnesota going back the other way.
Nicholas Coliani, uncharacteristic mistake, proven veteran.
Oh, this time they do find the pivot. He's able to get through and finish on the short side. David Thompson looks for Carolina to run, but they're taking their sweet time getting back to center. And it's
Isaac
2-1,
Odin,
4 minutes in.
known to show up in big games, and this might be the biggest of his life today.
That certainly can't be true, but we'll hope that he brings the intensity anyway. Oh, what a move by
what a
14.
cut.
Dusts him, and then dusts the goalkeeper.
Matu's peak,
2-2.
showing what a European name can do for you in United States handball landscape.
Gave him the knee wiggle and left him in a different zip code. 2-2. Yep, tries to break through, and this time he is going to get the yellow. Paul Scruggs got his licks in early. This time a little too much extending.
Classic Scruggs, just an absolute warrior out there. Already won a loose ball, and now he's knocking over the star of Minnesota.
Easily identified by Carolina fans as the guy with the beard, as we were told before the broadcast. So for those of you that have trouble with numbers. Oh, and right down the middle again, Gepner leading the attack. Tip of the spear coming right down the middle to start almost every Minnesota action, and that time he goes ahead and shoots over the top.
Man,
and
he's
puts
locked
Minnesota
in.
back in front.
That's got to be lens crafters. I mean, just unbelievable vision on that shot to put it right over David Thompson's head.
Well, you know, there's more options when it comes to prescription lenses than ever before. You know, there's a lot more online options. It's not the strictly brick and mortar retail business that you and I grew up in.
Yeah, you know, it is a changing landscape. It's honestly one of the most exciting businesses in the world right now.
Yeah.
And, you know, tell me your thoughts on bifocals.
Classic. I have trouble seeing around the skinny line in the middle. But, you know, I'm all for lasers. A big Star Wars fan, so I went ahead and got LASIK. My vision wasn't even bad. I just did it so that they would shoot me with a laser. Across the middle, he gets the dribble down, goes to the far side. Scruggs tries to fit through, and they're going to go ahead and call the foul. The skip step put him at 4 steps before he was able to get the shot off, so they'll have to reset with a 9-meter on the other side.
Paul Scruggs.
Good move by the right wing. They got to call that.
Wow,
9-meter.
Questionable call there.
Held on to the jersey, went for a ride. Right wing pulled the sled as far as he could.
You know, Jebediah, I don't want to turn up old stones here, but I think that play was worse than the controversial red card administered last night between Los Angeles and San Francisco.
Well, that actually reminds us, as we have Minnesota down here on a fast break, he gets around Scruggs and scores. Oh, no, they call the foul. Extra steps, but the contact. Minnesota will retain possession. But as I was saying, that reminds us, today's game is brought to you by non-contact red cards. Non-contact red cards. If we don't crush your dreams, when would you sleep?
Big shout out to our sponsor. They've really been present throughout the weekend. As Minnesota goes in, and David Thompson showing up, the left leg. It was speedy in 2004, and it's speedy in 2019.
Gets it out,
And
Scruggs around the
Scruggs
outside. And he will score, 3-3.
That's a 101% shot right there from Scruggs.
He flew through on the outside, got to the edge of the defense, and there was no stopping that one. Some confusion from Minnesota as they're getting their substitutions done. They'll have to bring it back to center and throw it off again.
Oh, and we're looking for a 3-second. Almost a mental mistake there from Minnesota. Really rare to see.
Again, I don't know that we can characterize that as a mental mistake. Nothing could have been less clear than what the official was wanting them to do. He said he wanted it back at center, but then he blew the whistle to bring the ball in when they were 10 feet away from the center mark where you're supposed to be standing for that process. So we'll call that one official error sometimes in trying to simplify the game and move it along. It becomes confusing to the players because they can't read your mind. Here goes Minnesota up court. Gepner
huge
again.
hit. And wouldn't you know it, would you expect anything different? Julian Schnitzel back in the middle, just delivering blows right next to Scruggs. One of the most dangerous 1-2 combos in the United States right there.
Schnitzel and Scruggs, they're not a law firm, but they will need representation if they keep hitting like this. Oh, another big save by Thompson.
Oh, look
and
at
he
the fast
rebounds.
break.
He does. Scruggs was getting up court, but this time it'll be Coliani going one-on-one around Gepner. Tries to feed Scruggs in the corner. He gets it there. He jumps in for the wing. He's pushed. It'll be a 7-meter. No?
No.
9. I mean,
My goodness.
I'm not sure how he's supposed to be any more in the 6th than that, huh? I mean, his beard was almost touching the left post. But instead, it'll be a 9 from the wing, inexplicably. Coliani across the Scruggs at right back, and we're back into it. Still a tie game coming up on the 10-minute mark into this first half. Move from the left back, calls in the SWAT team, and he's got a convoy, 3 on none. He keeps it himself.
Oh,
and boy, was that
stuff.
selfish. David Thompson with a big save.
My goodness.
Absolute stunner there.
Jebediah, you know, nothing gets me fired up like a breakaway save, and David Thompson is bringing the energy required to win the 5th place game in Open Division right now.
Yeah, no, he's putting in a strong bid for the Tater Cup, which you give out every year for most flamboyant goaltending, and that was a big, jazzy save in the face of a 3-man fleet coming downhill with no defense to be seen. But Thompson's up to the task, and the result is Carolina's leading 4-3.
29, Sammy Kamakin enters the game. He's actually a chemistry professor at the University of Minnesota.
You say that like it's true.
Oh,
Comes in from the wing, and Thompson playing backboard right there. Almost another save.
A rare mistake, and he's feeling it now. He knows he's got the Tater Cup within his reach, and that only amplifies the pressure of this already.
Coliani takes the hip check. Number 13, who is not on this roster, perhaps one of the 14s, one of the 2 14s Minnesota has listed, Ellis Falafa Morfa or Momin El Shaarawy. One of them threw a hip check there, and the result is a goal on a 7-meter for Matthews Peak. All right, Minnesota back in, trying to keep pace here, bring it back to tied. No team has had a 2-goal lead yet in this game. They'll start from the right side, tries to go for the swim, and Scruggs.
Yeah, they've moved Scruggs over to counteract the strength of number 13. It's another breakthrough from the wing, but David Thompson having none of it.
Another interesting call there. There's contact as he's going into the 6. It would seem that that needs to either be a 7-meter or a no call. No?
Just come to expect it at this point.
Explain it to me, Tater. Oh, and
Jebediah, there's nothing to say. It's just when the same thing happens repeatedly, you can't be surprised by its equally bad results.
In the meantime,
and a vicious hook on the
right
jersey.
Wow, and no call.
I mean,
there.
they're letting the boys play right now.
Could have been a much worse turn of events there for Sammy Kamakin. He tried the drop step on the offensive side, stepped into the 6, fast break the other way, and he almost ragdolled Coliani from behind. That could have been a 2-minute. It could have turned into a red card if he hadn't let go in time. So he'll stay in this game, fortunately, and now Minnesota's running the other way. Met with contact, puts it on the ground. A huge block. Nothing through the middle at this time.
Jeez.
Now into the middle, a 3-defender. Alongside the Bash brothers of Schinzel and Scruggs is Dominique Boykin, who looks to be able to move some weight in his own right. Here comes Minnesota from the left side. All the way to the right side, tries to fade, and Scruggs matches hands to the shoulders, and the attack is ended. Back to the left side, fake shot, puts the ball on the ground, and he drops it. Coliani picks it up.
Yeah, Stefan Storch there, stepping into the game, and maybe just needs get one bad one out of the way, and looks to come back and finish.
Coliani sees a gap, tries to go through, flips it off to the pivot.
Wow.
But they get it tied up.
Man.
Amazing pass that fit into the double team. Unfortunately, he was double teamed, so he went nowhere from there. Bringing it in from the left side as they get some substitutions. Coming on is number 2, Evan Gilbert. Coliani through the middle, kicks out wide. Scruggs over top of everybody and the goal. He's bailed out with a foul call. The contact was until his follow through. Carolina will be thankful for the free possession. See if they can, again, get the first multi-goal lead in this game for either team. Scruggs across Coliani through the middle, throws a fake shot, puts it on the ground, gets it out to the left wing. Who brings it back around, and great work there by 13. Again, we apologize for not having up-to-date rosters. That unless Yes, we're getting confirmation that is Ellis Falafe Morfa. And we'll just call him Ellis so that I don't butcher his name out of respect. Comes Rouse. Koliani, big save, trying to throw across his body.
Number 20, Joshua Lilinga. A little bit of a slow start, but he's in the game, and you can see it now. He's locked in.
And it has to be tough for him as a goaltender watching David Thompson make several big saves early before his first opportunity arises.
Not to mention, when you're going up against a beard like Scruggs, not much you can do, but Schnitzel on the break. We must be in Germany,
Ellis
boys.
on the other end really makes a tough pass, trying to hit a sliding pivot all the way down in the corner. Carolina sniffs it out, and Schinzel with some nifty dribbling takes it all the way down, walks the line, breaks it into the middle, and scores on the breakaway. And like that, Carolina takes a 6-4 lead. Another substitution for Minnesota. In comes Josh Hederick into the right wing to work with Ellis here on the right side. We'll see if they can solve Scruggs, who has been locking down whatever part of the court he's manned so far this game. And there he is again,
once again,
sending help. Schinzel and Scruggs closing down Matthias Gepner, who has been the absolute linchpin of Minnesota's attack thus far, and he forces one there. Saved by Thompson, but rebounds are better when they bounce right to you. And Sammy Kamakin gets on the board.
Ross Whipkey checks in at left wing. We've got number 18, David Laws, on the right wing. UNC using a couple of packages as Koliani breaks in, and yet another no call on a charge. Man, I think they're seeing it so well today. Just really letting the boys play and only making calls when they feel like it.
Yeah. The most important part of officiating is doing it on your terms. Okay. Koliani buries the shoulder in his man.
Inside.
Oh, he's able to kick it back out. Kamaka tries to keep the play going. They will not play the advantage.
You're not going to get a Gator roll on
the
Dominique Boykin. It's a long-time veteran.
Carolina does not lack for size and strength in the middle of their defense. And at this point, that's been the focal point of Minnesota's attack. They might have to change that up. There's Gepner through the middle. Hits David Thompson's center mass. Koliani throws the break.
Oh, and a beautiful pass.
And he throws behind the back because why not? If Paul Scruggs runs all the way down there, you need to reward him with a little layoff.
I'm pretty sure if you watch that in slow-mo, you'll see Scruggs point at his own beard as he's going to shoot against the goalkeeper, just reminding him who's asserting the facial hair dominance.
Can you believe David Laws, though, the guts on that pass, just throwing the casual behind the back when he's already in the 6-meter air. Comes across, Gepner through the middle again, gets it out to Ellis. Ellis controls the dribble. Back to Gepner, all the way out to the left side. Again, runs into Koliani, who holds his own. Gepner back to left back. They're running an open set now with 4 in the backcourt. Gepner, good move, gets it across. Ellis is through. Oh, and another big save by David Thompson.
Oh, and a huge foul by Dominique, but that was clean. That's the proper call.
I mean, they're hitting more center mass than the sheet in the shooting gallery. I mean, they have to aim somewhere besides right at David Thompson. They're having to work really, really hard to break through and have not been discerning with their chosen finishes. Carolina's opened up a 3-goal lead despite equal opportunities on both sides, but Minnesota's certainly having to work harder for theirs. Again, another tied up as Gepner tries to move it across for Ellis for the similar breakthrough. Throwing off the free throw. Off Gepner's hand, trickles out to center court.
Ross Whipkey really doing a good job there on the wing, not letting anything through. Ellis is such a threat, but Scruggs and Whipkey are really working well together.
A lot of movement along the line for Minnesota as they play with 2 pivots. It gets all the way out to the outside, and there's a goal.
Making up for the earlier error, number 73. Steven Stork.
Excuse me, it should probably be Stefan. Excuse me for the A there. So we'll say Stefan Storch because it's spelled like porch. But here we are. Minnesota breaks off that run by Carolina, and it's now 8-6. Koliani along number 2 on the right side. Gets it all the way out to the corner, and Laws.
Big save.
A kick save. Oh, and Kamakin was able to play it out.
Oh, And they didn't see it, but down the court they had 23. Josh Hedrick wide open there for a fast break. Those are the kind of shots they're going to need to take advantage of if they're going to claw back in this game.
No, you're absolutely right. They have so clearly had to work harder for their opportunities on offense when you have an opportunity for a free, especially with Kamakin giving up his body to then kick it out to his teammate to try and keep that break opportunity alive. They look off Kamakin on the German cross. A lot of movement, and he walks the line. Matthias Gepner flips to his pivot, fills his space, and then slides all the way across the formation to surprise Carolina Blue on the backside. 8-7 as Matthias Gepner hits him from behind. He'll start from the left wing. He's got the move. And he's not ready for it. Koliani back to him. Let's see if he can prove it again. Fake shot, puts it on the ground, gets it out to the right back, and he's able to get around the corner and score. Evan Gilbert off a lot of movement by Carolina there. It looks like they turned down a couple good shots even before, but they end up getting an opportunity that's good enough. Back out to a 2-goal lead here with 10 minutes remaining in the first half.
What's it going to take for Minnesota to break through?
An ill-advised run there from the left wing. The defender was not shading at all. Attempts to take him around the corner, leaves himself no opportunity.
And another errant pivot
David
pass.
Thompson easily up the task. Looked like the pivot was tied up there, but they don't bail him out with the foul call this time. It'll be a turnover on an early force feed into the pivot. Trading bad possessions. That'll keep Minnesota at only a 2-goal deficit.
I'm going to call this one now. Ellis is going to break through.
Scruggs
is on the bench. And he almost pulls the trigger, but a nice block by the defense.
And they've got time and room. Let's see, he'll go by himself this time. You can hear the bench reminding him all the way, so as not to throw another flashy behind-the-back pass when unabated to the cage. And this time he buries it himself.
David Laws. Slowly unveiling every move he has in his portfolio. Just keep an eye on this guy. He's a wild card.
Scruggs back on the inside of the defense on the opposite side. They're now trusting Matthias Peak with Ellis to stop that breakthrough. Gepner through the middle to Ellis
nice
into the corner. And what a nice goal there by Josh Hedrick. The right-handed right wing soars in. Again, good pass by Ellis, who draws 2 defenders, gets in the corner. That's pretty much how you draw it up. Start from the left wing, looks at going through. Kalani to Scruggs, and just like that on the other side. The same movement, start from the left, get the right back to draw 2. And the right wing scores on the other side. They hadn't been involved yet, and they immediately spar with each other.
Schnitzel
Gepner hitting the air.
laying down the law, just reminding everyone he's back in the game.
Yeah. Just in case you thought it was going to be easier with Mr. Scruggs on the other side. Well, it's probably from the previous hit that they've lost the brain cells necessary to realize what a bad idea that is, so we won't blame the victims. Gepner breaks through, piping out. Rebound by Schinzel up to Scruggs. He's caught from behind, but he puts it on the ground anyway. Uses his body, tries to force his way around the collar. Again, bailed out with a foul call. Must be nice to be him, the biggest guy on the court, and if you touch him, you get to shoot again. But we'll take a free throw from the other side.
You know what they say, inconsistency is the spice of life.
I don't think that's how that goes. Kalani tries to throw across his body, parried away. It's the second goalie that Minnesota has played today. Can you see the number? I struggle on the light
number
blue
12,
and white.
which is Nikolai Melnick.
Big save for him to get on the board.
Yeah, he's got 2 different dimensions there for Minnesota. You got the bigger frame with Melnick, I think. Could be interesting and pose a lot of problems.
And then you've got the gorgeous hair from their starter. So that mane will distract shooters. And another fast break.
And another Scruggs
is everywhere.
Left side. That's just Tater vision right there.
Yeah, Tater with shades of Tony Romo play prediction here from his next level goalie analysis. And Minnesota rattled by him calling his shot. Goes ahead and calls the timeout. We'll have a minute here for them to discuss things, as this is slowly opened up to a 4-goal lead. A game that was back and forth 1-for-1 up to the point of about 6-5 has been opened up to a 4-goal lead here over the last 6 minutes. Tater, what do you think the adjustment is for Minnesota if they are to close this back down and regain control of this game?
They've just really got to assert themselves on defense. They're getting a few calls that haven't gone their way, but they've got to disrupt the partners-in-law of Schnitzel and Scruggs.
Oh, I guess we're on here.
We're on live, which is not what we wanted.
Yeah,
Jebediah.
They didn't do makeup for us this morning.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, just trying to play off the energy in the building here. Thousands of seats.
It's been really tough to keep your focus.
Yeah. But this is my partner, Tatum. I'm Jebediah. We're calling this game for you today, and so far it looks good for Carolina, looking to add a 5th-place finish to their runner-up in the Open Division last year. I'm sure it's been a disappointment for them as far as overall outcome, but they're in control of their last chance to make an impression on the audience here at Myrtle Beach Sports Center.
Give me a key player from each team that's got to take over for the rest of this game.
I don't know that it could be any more clear that Paul Scruggs has taken over. In many ways, he's run the break, he's blocked shots, he's, as you've said, laid down the law along with his partner in crime, Schinzel, and I'm not quite certain that some of them weren't crimes, but neither of them has drawn a 2-minute yet. So for Minnesota, it'll be interesting to see how they play here, because their offense has flowed almost exclusively through Matthias Gebner to this point, and this is the first time we've seen him out of the game, and that first time has come to an end. He steps back on, but he will not be shooting the 7-meter as he thought, and so he'll return to his spot on the bench. In the meantime, a goal by Stefan Storch, and it is 12-9. Carolina comes down, also made some adjustments in their backcourt. Coliani has taken a seat, and Matthias Peak will run the center back, with Evan Gilbert moving over from right to left back. Flips to Scruggs and a big cross. Gilbert tries to fight his way through, and Stork gets the arm.
That's the aggression we were talking about at the break. Minnesota talking well together, firing the team up.
Starts from the right side. Scruggs to Peak, to Gilbert, looks at the shot, back to Peak, over to Gilbert. Oh, excuse me, Scruggs drops it. Gilbert with a one-on-one there. Ellis, a lot of space, heavily overshifted to Scruggs' side, perhaps rightfully so, but they're challenging Gilbert to take Ellis one-on-one on that left side, and boy is he coming out high. Gilbert feeds the pivot. Oh, and he spins off.
Just a crazy sequence there from Schnitzel, but a classic gator roll through the legs, beautiful shot, and then hits the top of the crossbar and goes over.
That's what they call a position save there for Nikolai Melnick.
Just the awareness to not touch it since it wasn't going in. Really well played.
Depth in the cage, forced the bounce shot to come all the way up to the crossbar.
Those are the intangibles we look for with the Tater Award.
He's making a case. David Thompson has been making a ton of saves, but they've all been steady work, not the flashy, juicy stuff that'll get you a Tater. Stork, an interesting move, high stepping through the middle, and the block. Carolina Blue thinks they have it, but Minnesota will retain possession. I'm pretty sure if somebody had stepped up from the middle to try and stop Storch in his path when he collected that pass, they would have gotten drop kicked. I've never seen anything quite like that in a handball game. But he felt like Dion, and it's a 9-meter throw for Minnesota here. Already deep into this possession, having already had a shot blocked. Another 9-meter. Ellis gets it over to Ketterick, back to Ellis. Through the middle, 19 in at center back, as we mentioned. They're giving Gepner a break, and it's Jens Wanker in the middle. We'll call it Venker for the sake of not making jokes. just in case.
Oh, a new wing into the game. Felix Esmeralda, first goal, and unfortunately, maybe his last year. He's landed on his elbow really hard there. Really good time to mention our sponsor, KT Tape. It won't heal your emotional wounds, but it'll help with your joints. KT Tape.
I'm not really sure. I guess he just gave a bench yellow. I did not see the action there from the official, but he was in his pockets and walking the line on the far side of the court. So we'll assume the Minnesota bench is on thin ice, which is rare in Minnesota. So here Carolina Blues starts it off.
Really well played, Jebediah. Sorry, I just want to go out of my way to mention that.
Ice jokes are just, it's my wheelhouse.
Yeah, that's what makes this game so special, calling it with Jebediah, a legend in this industry of USATH handball.
I appreciate that. I know all 17 people watching this live stream right now couldn't be more thrilled with the Tater. Woke up 3 hours earlier than normal to call this game. And here we'll throw it back in. Everything's been sorted out. I think Minnesota was trying to figure out whether or not they had gotten a penalty, and it looks like they have. It looks like they were assessed a 2-minute to their bench because they returned with only 5 players. I can only assume they were stumping for their left wing in hopes that they would be given a 2-minute man-up opportunity for his arm getting hooked as he went through on that last goal. Instead, they're down 6-on-5.
Really physical play there from Evan Gilbert. He's had enough. He's tired of sitting by. And look for him to be a key factor to blow this lead out, potentially before half.
They will have the opportunity with this penalty running down into the final possession of this half. Scruggs, double cross, interesting choice.
Oh, what a
Nothing could be less necessary in a 6-on-5. But man, if they don't want that Tater with flashy plays like that.
I'm telling you.
Again, Carolina continuing to attack in a way that suggests they don't realize that they're an extra man. They continually overload into the shift of the defense rather than trying to find that man advantage in their attack. Here we are 3-on-2 on the left side, and he runs right back into the third defender, shortens this side of the court, and there's no room for the right wing when they get to the other side. Over top of Scruggs to peek.
Oh, and pass off the foot of Schnitzel, and a right call there.
And boy, is this disappointing. Here comes Ketterick, and
another
save,
huge
just
save.
When you want to give, just when you want to put one on the board for Minnesota. Oh man, what a save by Thompson. That's the second time this game that Minnesota should have had an opportunity to pull within one, change the momentum, and the second time that the Lone Ranger is shot down by David Thompson.
That's just what the Tater's all about. And excuse me for gleaming right now, but that just gets me so excited. I mean, you see the kick with the right foot, and then at the last minute he drops the left shoulder and just catches it straight with his hand. That is Tater material.
Yeah, he tracks it all the way in, and it'll remain 12-10. Carolina called this timeout, presumably talking about their man-up strategy. Tatum, what do we think? What's the point of emphasis for them for the last 20 seconds or so of this man-up opportunity? Who do you want finishing that ball?
Man, I think you got to reintroduce Coliani. You know, you come in here on a Sunday morning, 9:30 a.m., and you wear a pink headband like that just to let people know that you literally don't care or respect them. And I think Coliani is going to show that right here. Just watch.
Well, you've proven to be a soothsayer, Coliani, who wasn't even in the game when you made your prediction that he would be the key point here, is immediately subbed in by the coach. So clearly Carolina Blues coaching staff is watching this live stream and taking every note they can. Through Coliani to the left side to Scruggs.
Look for Scruggs to attack on the next time he touches the ball, creating the space for Coliani. Here we go. Oh.
Coliani, the throwback. Again, they're still playing 3-on-3 on each side, and another turnover. Unable to use their space, and there goes their man-up opportunity as Ellis plays the extra man coming back in for Minnesota. And he'll drop down into the right wing after playing right back throughout for most of this. Tries to make a move. Oh, they allowed him to play on. Storch tries to go around. Some errant dribbling. But he's
Nice
able to
little
retain it.
flashy pass. Excuse me.
Yeah, lays it off to Hedrick behind his back because he doesn't care.
I think Stefan's really asserting himself, saying, I want that tater. I don't know if you could see it at home, but he flicked it behind his back when he was 12 meters out from the goal on the sideline. And
Ellis, ill-advised, another save by Thompson.
And
And
4
they'll
seconds
run
left.
here for.
As Schnitzel, can he
Run
get
it
it
down.
Oh,
It gets
past
to
the Scruggs! With
And he won't get it
Oh,
off.
No.
No.
No. Sorry, Scruggs.
As if he needed another one.
A beard like that can get you a lot of things in life, but it's not going to make that clock not say 0.
You were wondering if the monster man of the court today was going to fly into the 6 for a Kemp on that one, but not enough clock awareness to give the fans what they wanted, which would have been an alley-oop dunk on the goaltender as time expired. Instead, catches, collects, takes his time in composed fashion, as he's wont to do. Unfortunately, this time there weren't 3 seconds for him to take that deep breath before finishing, and we're out of time with Carolina entering the half with a 2-goal lead.
But I'll tell you what, an intense play like that right before the half, it's just going to make this 10 minutes be that much longer as we wait in high anticipation for the second half.
I mean, if you're Minnesota, we're going to have to talk about this when we come back from break. Enjoy your 9 minutes of halftime before we come back.
we're back live. Tater Jones here. Waiting on my partner, Jebediah, so I'll be heading the commentary until he returns here shortly. But UNC looking to capitalize for 5th place, up 12-10 on Minnesota after a great first half from Scruggs and Schnitzel, highlighting the UNC strength on offense and defense. But it's anyone's game out here as Carolina starts the action. And David Laws passes to Coliani. Oh, back to Laws, who's got a shot. And a no call.
An absolutely unbelievable no call by the official there.
A no call on the wing shot where he actually slaps the ball out of his shooting hand. That is professional, to say the least.
I'm going to have a hard time doing my job because I am frankly speechless. That was an extremely dangerous play with the wing clearly through into the 6.
I mean, that's blue card material. That guy should be going home right now.
Yeah, I mean, we're all very fortunate that he didn't get all of the ball on his attempted call to the SWAT team. But again, we'll play on and pretend that the most dangerous play in handball didn't just almost happen.
Oh, and a nice pass. Once again, 73, just really making a case. Stefan Storch really wanting that Tater Award. He's had some flashy passes, particularly from irrelevant places, and Ellis finally gets on the board with an absolute strike. We've been waiting to see that, and, I mentioned I think he's one of the guys that's got to break out for Minnesota to clinch his victory.
Well, they've maintained touch here. They're only down 2, despite the fact that it feels as though Carolina has left opportunities to
David Laws
put some more distance in between, of course.
That's the kind of player Laws is, though. I've been watching him for a long time at UNC. He makes it look like that was a mistake, but that pass was spot on. That was 100% intentional, just to mess with the opponent. And an errant pass there as well. David Thompson recovers.
Ketterit and Thompson exchange pleasantries. The ball goes back the other way. When Tatum's done signing autographs, we'll get back to our broadcast.
Sorry.
But, this is more than usual after the launch of our podcast, Jeb and the Tater, on Sunday mornings, which you can find on Quingle, Frisch, and everywhere else that no one listens to podcasts.
Of course, and if you are curious, one of the things that we do is compare chicken fingers on the show. So each week we go head-to-head with, for instance, a KFC and a Zaxby's, and really compare not only the texture and the frying temperature that's standard at those companies, but also the dipping sauces that acquire them. So if it sounds like something you're interested in, you should probably reevaluate your life decisions, but join us, Jebediah and Tater, on Sunday mornings.
In the meantime, after that shameless plug for our own material, Isaac Odom had shown a beautiful drop step, gator roll to get around the corner and bring it back to a 2-goal deficit for Minnesota, and then a turnover on the other side by Carolina has given now Minnesota an opportunity to cut it to 1 as Matthias Gepner checks back in at center back on the offensive end. Kamakim is going second pivot, and Ellis is met in the air. They want a quick restart.
Schnitzel reasserts himself, letting Ellis know that the one he got is going to be the only one unless he tries a little bit harder.
Fake comes back around to Gepner, back to Ellis. Ellis, another fake pass. He dances. He goes far side all the way over to Storch, who tries to force it into the pivot. He gets around the corner on Scruggs. There's no foul there. He attempted to reach, and he wasn't able to get it. Thompson toying with Kamakin and is able to get it out clean. Opportunity wasted for Minnesota to cut in this deficit. Kalani, a little out of control, but his team was still subbing in as they swapped in Gilbert to come in at right back there, who was not in on the defensive side. There's Kalani. He has a gap.
A move out to Laws, but they're calling
number 7, Aaron Ham, for carving out space with his hips down on the pivot. He was trying to maintain that seal so that Koliani could scoot through, but before he could get there, he had thrown his hips into the side of the defender, and the refs caught him for it. So again, Minnesota with a chance to cut this to 1 for the first time in about 20 minutes. It was a 1-goal game early, and it hasn't been since. We'll see if they can take advantage. They're starting it on the right side. Ellis throws a fake pass, tries to spin off.
Oh, what physical play there from Ellis. And Matthews Peak, lucky he wasn't called there. That was getting in risky territory.
He had the jersey from behind. Ellis was able to spin off and get his momentum move towards goal, leaving Peak holding him from behind on the wrong side of him in the goal. But Gepner, Kamakin is able to keep it alive, keep it out of his feet. Gets to Ellis, who gets to Storch, who gets to Gepner in the middle, back to Ellis on the outside, tries to float through, and he will score on the short side. And it's a 14-13 game.
Man, Schnitzel's losing his mind on the sideline there. He hit Ellis the play prior, letting him know he wasn't going to get anything.
And that's the other side. Koliani loses
Minnesota
the way off to Scruggs.
with a chance to tie. And a shot for the side. No. I mean, guys, we're talking a direct red here. But instead, let's just give it a common foul. What do you think, Jebediah?
I remain speechless. I guess they're calling it both ways, because that's two guys being accosted from behind. Honestly, that one was a little less egregious just because Gepner was fading off to the side. It still should have been a 2-minute call.
No question.
But yeah, Scruggs.
But the refs just not really worried about it today, and why should they?
And there's the makeup call there. They immediately call a 2-minute.
Schnitzel nonetheless.
Schnitzel is
coming in, and man.
Unfortunately, the justice is levied on him for his partner's crimes, but.
Speaking about not caring from the refs, we'd like to remind you about our corporate sponsor, Applebee's. Nothing says this relationship is over quite like dinner at Applebee's.
Ellis swings across, puts it on the ground. Scruggs continues for the ride, but they go ahead and blow it dead, and it'll be a free throw. Let's see if Minnesota, this is their first 6-on-5 opportunity. We will see, or at least in extended fashion, as teams traded penalties earlier. But Carolina really struggled going -2 on their own man up. If Minnesota can make that a point of difference in this game,
Apologies for the interruption there. Matthews Peak almost made a foolish delay of game penalty there by stopping the ball.
And
a vicious foul by David Laws, and another.
Are you kidding me? It's a hip check as he's going through into the 6. This is...
Man, the fans are just going insane, and for those of you that aren't here, if you can't feel the indifference from home from the referees, it is at an all-time level right now. They want to get out of here. They are tired of being here this weekend, and they are not going to make a call to save their life.
Well, it's very fortunate for us here down in front that the concession stands haven't opened yet, so the fans don't have anything to throw, given the strict no outside food or drink policy here at the Myrtle Beach Sports Center. Today, with officiating like this, it's a godsend.
And David Laws unleashed the wild card to Aaron Ham.
It is tough, I understand,
move
for the officials to go ahead and call a red card on that, because the game is being played at such a slow pace that the risk of injury is a lot lower when Storch attempts to dive into the wing at half the speed of Smell. That said, he's still being undercut. You still have to call the game the way that it's written to ensure that when intensity does get ratcheted up here, as we do move down to the end of this game, that nobody's getting hurt. And so far there have been 3 plays.
Well, hold on now. Nikolai Melnick, the goalie from Minnesota, we're not sure if he's hurt. Oh, it looks like he was just reserving the energy tank as he's back up and ready to move.
Well, what wouldn't energize you better than watching Gepner break through and score through the middle, which he had not had success doing since the opening minutes of this game. They had to go find their offense elsewhere, as he had been running into Schnitzel and Scruggs over and over again. And that time he's able to whip it around the corner. Koliani over to Scruggs. They bring the wing around, back to Koliani, playing from the left back, flips it back
to Peak, to Laws.
Great ball and player movement. And Melnick, with no regard for the finesse and beauty of that offensive play, swats it out the corner. Great movement there by Carolina. Continuity, players switching positions, finding their right wing with a ton of space all by himself. But Melnick closes it down, and now Carolina will have to do it all again. Koliani organizing his troops, moving Schnitzel to the opposite side, who then immediately floats back across. Oh, puts the ball on the ground. Ellis, good hands, but he got the arm first. It'll be another free throw, 9-meter for Carolina. Starting from the wing, sliding across. Scruggs
thought he was
And
going to rip
again,
one.
They are running the exact same play that just gave them the
Oh,
right wing wide
and
open.
another no call. I can feel it, guys. There's no two fingers that are about to come up.
Well, it's very bizarre the way that this is played out, because the plays don't seem intentional, but you're approaching a guy from behind and grabbing him by the shoulders. I mean, it just honestly, even though we're avoiding the worst outcome, it's the sort of thing where the refs need to make a preemptive strike and start cracking down on this, because one of these times it is going to be bad. It's another grab from behind.
Especially as the game just stays this close for the coveted title of not only 5th place, but a Tater Award. A schnitzel thrown on the ground there by Minnesota.
Pete couldn't find a corner on that. Melnick parries it away, grabs his own rebound, and it'll remain a 1-goal game here with 19 minutes left. A chance to tie.
Sammy Kamakin.
Oh, and there you go. Schnitzel
showing the frustration.
He's able to tie up Gepner there and make them reset. That's the message that they sent early, the way that they established their defense early. We'll see if they can continue to crank it back up here as they attempt to maintain their slim lead. Ellis swings across, caught by Scruggs in the air. He keeps running right into Coliani, and they'll rightfully blow it dead for the free throw, as he was on his about 5th step after contact there before he buried that around the corner. They'll start from the right wing. Oh! A force feed into the pivot is tipped right back to him, and then as he stumbles through the gap, he's bailed out with a foul call. That was as interesting as it could be for the left wing Popov. Ellis to Gepner. A little confusion there as both the left wing Popov and Kamakin, the pivot, were both moving into a long cross movement. And as a result of the traffic jam, it's an easy turnover, and Carolina will bring it down. The wasted opportunity there from Minnesota through some miscommunication, as we had a little fender bender there in the middle of their own offense. Gilbert across to Coliani, slows it down, places Schinzel. No Scruggs right now on the offensive side. Tries to float through, draws the second defender. Great work, and Schinzel, yeoman's work as he slides the line and buries to double Carolina's lead.
Man, Carolina, this could be the break they need. They have just not been able to separate.
Very important possession here for Minnesota to try and bring it back to 1 as we move towards the midway point of the second half. Again, they force feed the pivot. No gator roll, but he's able to press the wing. The one defender,
floater.
I'm not quite sure. The one defender sort of came to help on the pivot, but then just kept running away.
Atanas Popov with the first goal of his game today. And a big shout out to having, I think, the coolest name and quite a wide array of names we have out here on the court.
Coliani tries to get around the outside, gets to Gilbert, who tries to swing through and launches himself into the thigh of the defender as he swings over top. He launches it wide.
Apologize for coughing there, folks.
That is smiling and palms up there as he walks back down the court, but I'm not sure how he expected that to go any different. Ellis tries to feed the middle. Oh, look at the give and go action. Carolina trying to get organized, and Minnesota makes a great.
Ross Whipke confused, rightfully so, because they've called a 7-meter after what was a clearly clean goal.
Remain confused.
And a save on the 7-meter.
By the third goalie we've seen today. Oh, excuse me, second goalie for Carolina, 4th goalie overall. David Thompson takes the break. They get the 7-meter stop with a different looking goalie, confuses the shooter.
And they say, thanks for making that save, now go sit down. As David comes back on and is not going to reward him in any way for that effort.
Well, they need to fix the scoreboard, because if they did shoot that 7-meter, if that goal from Ellis where he dove through wasn't to have counted, I believe it's still a 2-goal game and now a 1-goal game.
And this is how controversies get started.
I hope neither team wins by 1 because I'm fairly positive the scoreboard here is wrong.
Just reaching out to all the viewers out there. We need to start we need to get this live on social. Feel free to tweet about the score discrepancy on Twitter with the hashtag 5th place is everything.
Isn't it though? Gilbert closed in on by the 2 defenders, draws the free throw though, and Schinzel will throw it in right back to him. They start from the left wing. They're very overloaded. No space for Gilbert to go into the right wing. Back to Koliani. Oh, it'll float through.
Peak.
He's able to get to the edge there. I'm not sure. I guess the 2 defender was helping underneath because of the threat of Koliani.
And Nicholas Melnick going back into low energy mode here, waiting for the next offense. Oh, Ellis is free again.
And that is the exact same give-and-go play. Carolina trying to organize their 5-1. They made a shift last possession, and Ellis gives it to a sliding pivot who seals while giving it right back, and the defense just doesn't react. It's second time in a row. Last time a bizarre 7-meter call, but that's basically 2 completely successful goals in a row, doing the exact same thing in transition. Left wing attempts to throw a spin move out to Peak.
You can see the difference without Scruggs on the defense for Carolina.
Absolutely. And particularly when you have 5-1, that back line, there's so much more space, and the sole 3 in the center is really important as an anchor. I'm not certain that I would run that 5-1 for this team without him there to anchor that 3. But regardless, Carolina scores, brings themselves back into a lead.
Big shot from McClenny.
In it right back, we have Jens Wenker. Oh, moved by the left wing. Pop, can he get around the corner? He's shoved down as he shanks it wide. But is at least drawing some attention over there. We'll see if that helps Gebner and Wenker on the weak side by him drawing some attention there.
Atanas Popov, the left wing. I hate to say it, Jebediah, but I think he's ready to pop off.
It's a little early for that, Tater. But after that puntacular showing by my partner, we have a free throw in for Minnesota as they are taking their time, figuring out just how they want to probe this Carolina Blue defense.
Oh, and a big mistake.
You know how.
And a terrible call as the ball was not over the line completely. But nonetheless, once again, it's subject to the gut, not facts.
Well, they ended up swatting it off themselves eventually, but who knows? Maybe the whistle scared them. Gilbert fakes into the pivot across Koliani.
Whipkey back in the game at left wing. Look for him to make a big shot here.
He really wanted it in a good tie-up by Ketterick there in the corner. It's unfortunate wasted possession there from Minnesota. Carolina moving the ball well, swinging across the formation. A force feed into Schinzel from Koliani. And, a great play to squeak that out to the right wing, Joshua McClaney. But the advantage was over, and the refs call it a free throw. In it comes, swings across back to the left side. Gilbert makes a move, turns around, flips back. Schinzel tries to fight through the 2 defenders. Great job to lay it off to Gilbert. There's some space on the outside. They come all the way across the left wing, who attacks the middle.
Key to Peak.
And there's nowhere. I'm not sure what he saw. Nikolai Melnick was sitting on that post. I think perhaps he thought Melnick was baiting him far side and his momentum would move him away, but by all intents and purposes, he just threw it right at him, and it's parried out of bounds.
Well, Melnick's such a great game manager with energy. We saw him laying down there earlier. Just really doing everything he can to save up for huge explosive plays like that goal there from number 23, Josh Hederick. Minnesota has tied the game. Twitter is blowing up. We don't know if it's actually tied or not. But UNC doing everything they can right now, including bringing Dominique back into the game at left back. They're going to need something to separate as we get down here in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, the last thing we want is controversy coming down the stretch. As we said, there's big stuff on the line here. With the aluminum foil medal for 5th place, as well as all the dishwasher soap in Muskegon. feeds into Schinzel. Good hands.
Oh, Schnitzel getting back in.
Number 4, Minnesota. That was Atanas Popov. Was able to get a hand on it. And unfortunately for him, the momentum took it right in. The bounce came right up to Schinzel, who was able to finish.
And a huge save.
Popov dives in there. Attempts to sneak the short side. Thompson closes it down. Man, he's been a difference maker in this one.
Absolutely. I think that's a great time to talk about that. That was our Arthritis Hot save of the game. Arthritis Hot, it's literally the same thing as Ben Gay and costs $2 less per tube. Arthritis Hot.
Interesting little play there in at left back for Carolina. A different look here. Dominique Boykin, who we've seen on defense, but not as much on offense this game. Gets to Koliani. Again, they feed Schinzel, and a big save by Melnick.
Big save. Oh, and he's giving it to him. That's Tater material right there. You stuff somebody point blank, and you stare them down into their soul and let them know that at least for the next 9 minutes and 45 seconds, your life is better than theirs.
Yeah, they're going to draw a penalty on Carolina here. They are playing overly aggressive.
Oh, and a radio foul on number 19. But Dominic Boykin laughing, trying to dispel attention from the refs who remain indifferent. Number 19 for Minnesota there with a firecracker shot, Jens Wanker.
Yeah, no, Schinzel's still upset because Melnick didn't just be about it. He also let him hear about it after that big save there. Clearly, the meditation and visualization he's been doing between possessions is allowing him to project where shots are going before they get there.
Well, you can see even when he's posing there in a meditative sessions in the goal.
It's the crane. Go ahead.
The crane. He's just so strict with his form, and I think that's really what it comes down to. You do that, repetition, begets success.
Well, his discipline there has helped Minnesota keep it to a one-goal game. A one-goal game, I say in quotations. Oh, he swings through, attempts to get through, and great play there by Schinzel. He's got himself back under control. He was starting to extend in the first part of this possession, but he clearly took a deep breath on one of these free throws, and that one he just plays it straight up, closes down the block, and forces them back out to try again. Popov starts from the left wing.
Oh, Felix Esmeralda breaking in.
Carolina turns and runs with Popov as he goes in, leaving a complete gap on the one defender. Boykin's surprised there as Storch comes in from the bench, but he's able to maintain possession and draw the foul as Storch tried to rip it away from him. Start from the left wing, back out to Boykin. Boykin to Koliani. Gilbert on the right side, touching it into the right wing. Number 5.
Look for Boykin to score here. Oh, until Koliani breaks in.
We haven't seen much of that from Koliani in this half. But being assertive there with this man Scruggs out of the game, pacing the sidelines with his arms crossed. I have to wonder when he'll make his way back into this tilt. Here comes Minnesota with a chance to bring the score even at 20s. Gepner again seeing if they, and again he mishandled the shift. And there's, an opportunity on the right wing, but the ball is down. And there goes Carolina.
Whipkey with the break.
Oh, what a shot as he uses the outside cut. And, picks it up at his own left wing inside the 9-meter, dribbles all the way through, fights the contact, scores in the 2 position on the opposite side of the court while being pushed, spinning it around the goalie. Energy expended, greatness achieved. And a throwaway there from Minnesota. Storch thought the right back was stepping into the gap behind the press defender on Gepner in center. But miscommunication there, and it's a freebie for the Carolina Blue bench. 6.5 to go. Carolina back up to a multi-goal advantage with a chance to make it 3, which is where they held it for most of the middle part of this game. But Minnesota kept it within 1 for the last 10 or 15 minutes. This is the wrong time to allow them to create space. Gilbert thinks about it, tries to force his way through. That's a charge. No call. McElhaney back to Gilbert, who looks away from the fact there's still a defender.
Boykin open on the wing.
And
he'll fail to convert.
Several open spaces for Carolina to attack, and those were the only spaces they didn't pressure there. Gilbert gets away with the charge. Gets to McElhaney, and while his defender's still laying down, chooses not to attack over the same gap that was now exposed. Koliani Moves to Boykin coming out of the wing.
Nice
Back
pass
to
Koliani.
him. Tip on.
Gilbert now. Look. Oh, he's got space, but he doesn't capitalize.
Oh,
my goodness.
And that is exactly.
And we're still not going to get any other call than a 7-meter Jebediah. Surprised we even got that.
It's just, you form habits, and by the referees officiating this way, they're
Right
allowing
side,
him to
top
build.
right.
And low left. You couldn't have been more wrong, Tater. But on that note, I mean, we all know that playing at a high level is about habits, or at least maybe not playing at a high level is the right way to describe this, but exerting at a high level comes from habits, and they're allowing, in this case, Kamakim to get in the habit of constantly grabbing people from behind, and this is really they get more dangerous each time. And it's becoming less and less forgivable from these officials to not. I understand you don't want to send anybody home on their last game of this long weekend, and that would be a long trip back to Minnesota if you took a red in your last game. But I mean, this is inexcusable. Meanwhile, Gepner breaks through in the middle and keeps it close here for Minnesota. That was a really important goal, as their offense was quite stagnant while I was on my soapbox, and he just went right through and buried over top through the middle. That's an important goal. But Scruggs is back in for Carolina. You have to really love the bench minutes they've gotten with him out of the game. The fact that they were actually able to extend their lead without their best player. Oh, and what a rough play there by Kamakin. Oh,
off the post.
The Dwayne Wade floater won't go in.
Man, that was such a sequence of events.
Oh,
I mean,
no, and Scruggs.
Scruggs coming back in hot.
The amazing
and now
run.
Open for the fast break.
Intercepted. There are who can keep up.
Oh.
Scruggs sprinted from the 2 on the opposite side. His anticipation on that pass was incredible. And rightfully so that we can all catch our breath here. Minnesota will take a timeout to talk about it after that flurry of 17 turnovers in 33 seconds.
Man, that's Tater Ball in a nutshell right there. That gets me just over the moon excited about the last 3 minutes of this game. Jebediah, what's going to be the key for Minnesota to overcome this questionable 2-point deficit?
Well, this game's going to be messier than wrestling in a Mississippi mud pit. I don't know that Minnesota's going to be able to have the continuity to go in and string together goals. They need to play under control. When you get possessions back from this Carolina team, who they have struggled more to stop. I mean, frankly, it's Carolina's turnovers that have been the only thing that have kept Minnesota in this game. They've scored when they've moved the ball, and they've been getting great goaltending from Mr. Thompson back there, and yet somehow they don't have space in between them and their opponent.
Yeah, gonna be a real nail biter. Twitter, of course, blowing up. A reminder, if you were watching and feel that Minnesota was credited a goal that they did not get, tweet with the hashtag 5th place is everything, and we'll make sure that your case is heard, just like all the other cases here in Myrtle Beach.
That's right. We'll form a working group, and we'll get to the bottom of this.
Keyword, objectivity.
All right. And here we go. Minnesota, after talking about it in the timeout, down to 3.5 minutes to make that push for 5th place in the Open Division here to cap off their Nationals run this year. A great play against Ellis, but Popov sneaking in. I'm not sure there was a gap there. Thompson looks it off, gets Minnesota to hustle back. And this will be an opportunity for North Carolina to miss time. We're getting down to 1 or 2 critical possessions for Minnesota before this game's out of reach, down to 3 minutes. You never want to be down more goals than there are minutes left. You never want to be down any goals at all, but it's a particularly...
Sorry, Ellis SWAT game right there.
And it's 2 minutes for Kamakin for grabbing the jersey. It's hard to contain your amusement with a call like that at a juncture in this game.
You know, speaking of questionable calls, that brings to mind our sponsor, Chili's. Chili's 2 for $25. Just don't get the Texas cheese fries and expect to have a fun night. Back to the game here. Scruggs looking to reassert himself as Evan Gilbert. Oh, with a gator roll. Wow.
He puts him in the spin cycle, and he flies down the court.
Is that Evan Gilbert or Joel Embiid? I mean,
I don't know, but he shows a general lack of sportsmanship, flying down the court like a Jet plane.
Hashtag fifth place is everything.
Yeah, that's.
And Scrubs getting really physical there.
Yeah, this Gilbert with that spin move solved Carolina's 6-on-5 woes. And with it, they may have, with the help of the official on a ticky-tack call after varying levels of assault throughout the game. Let's just be honest. And they're give it back.
And there's the makeup
They're
call.
putting their stamp on this game. Want to make sure they hit their quotas. Like a state trooper on the highway, you got to make your end of the month quotas. And they were letting them go at 12 over earlier here in this game, and now they're giving tickets at 3 over.
Oh,
Ellis fights through and keeps the dream alive here. 2 minutes down 2. They'll need a takeaway here with some 5-on-5 speed lane handball action. Oh,
and
bounces off Scruggs' foot, but Minnesota won't get the possession. Scruggs is going to be isolated on that left side. And they're going to go ahead and call the foul there. Schinzel seemed to have been hit in the face, at least from what is gesturing, and so they'll get a do-over on Peak's force feed. He'll put the ball on the ground. Gilbert all the way through, and he'll finish.
And it's hard to see now Minnesota being able to come back.
This time he does a shake weight celebration rather than a plane. And Gebner get back across.
These refs just doing just an unbelievable job today. Unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable. Just unbelievable.
It does.
As Schnitzel and Scrubs dominant in the first half, look to help close out with Matthews Peak, and Evan Gilbert elects to pass to Laws. A smart move there to run the clock down more, as Laws takes a really tough hit. And another.
This time a timeout by Carolina, which, again, for as much as the refs have tried to leave their mark on this game late, calling chintzy turnovers in multiple 2 minutes, you wonder why they let a minute run off the clock there almost without a passive play call. What better way to get your name in the papers than to apply the rules as they're written? But guess we won't be expecting that. 58 minutes of evidence suggests that we won't be seeing that, so I'll stop expecting it, Tater.
Yeah, Storch here talking to the refs about the mistake that they made, and you can see it now in their faces. They're just not having it. They're going to defend their case regardless of the actual facts of the case.
Yeah, and a lot of gesturing, a lot of, real confidence from that side. I don't know what else to, Storch taking in stride, daps him up. Again, it hasn't been that Minnesota was victimized by any means. It's been issues on both sides. I'm very pleased that nobody was injured today.
Yeah.
Because we had repeatable offenses that were encouraged by a lack of foul calls that could have really hurt somebody.
But I have to say the lack of control and good habits reminds me of our sponsor, Five Guys. Five Guys. It'll destroy your Monday.
Coliani granted a few extra steps to break around the corner there, and that's the dagger. 3 goals with 20 seconds left. Minnesota tries to push. Scruggs ties up Ellis to Gebner. Storch behind the back
into
Popov, and what a nice end of
David.
the season that would have been.
But
if
what
only
a
he could've
seal
put it.
from from David Thompson, who rightfully, and I can now say, has won the Tater Award. What a poetic ending.
Without a doubt. This was a 3-goal game for Carolina that he had more than 3 momentum-changing saves. So congratulations to Carolina. 5th place, and they'll take home all the marbles in Poughkeepsie.
Lucky for us, that questionable goal given to Minnesota earlier, not going to become a factor, but, what do you look forward to for the rest of the day as we approach arguably the most elite tournament in the world for team handball?
Well, Carolina covered the spread there, so I already made my money. I think that's a good spot for us to end the broadcast. Thanks to Vegas for paying for my weekend. All right, signing off, Jebediah McKenzie, along with my partner,
Tatum Jones. It's been a pleasure.
It has been. Congratulations to Carolina.
Minnesota